So, so how did you get into the sanitation department?
Well, I was probably by like around the time that the Empire was closing, maybe like 20, about 21, 22. And my mom, she used to read a paper called The Chief.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And I think, back then, like now you do online, you apply online and stuff like that to take the test. But I think it came out in the back of the, my mom cut it out and was like, fill this out. So I filled the form out, and I think it was like one was for the Department of Sanitation, and the other one was for the MTA as a track worker, which I worked both the jobs. I was a track worker first.
Oh, really? Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, okay.
I was a track worker for really about like 8 months before sanitation called. But sanitation had called me so many times. I just had a couple arrests on my record, different things that I needed to like, license was suspended.
Okay. You had to clean that up.
I was young and just hanging around the wrong
Mhm.
people, doing the wrong things, and uh, it kind of affected I guess, my
Em
early
employment opportunities.
my
Mhm.
early opportunities. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, I got in, but MTA helped me because it wasn't a requirement to have the license, so I was able to get a good job that I could then pay off the license what I owed on the
Got
license.
it. Got it.
Sanitation came calling, and I'll be honest with you, I became sanitation worker like in my late 20s. So it's around the time that I had my daughter. So out of high school, out of college, I drop out of college, then the Empire closes, and I'm like, yo, I don't know what to do next because I just spent uh, a good part of my adolescence and young adulthood having a career base
Mhm. Mhm.
and direction. You know what I mean? Like no matter if there was school, like I saw the school as a plan B.
Got it.
And the DJing was a plan, and that's at that time maybe it's not so realistic, but at that
Right, because
time,
that was your primary focus at the time. I get it.
yes, yes, you know what I mean. I got through the school, and when I could do away with the school, I because I already managed to carve a space for myself, and then it it just stopped. So my next step was I enrolled at the Institute of Audio Research, IAR, which is a school for audio engineering and music production.
Okay.
By that time, I had already like bought an MPC. It was like learning how to operate. At this time, there was no YouTube, so I didn't have a manual or anything. I got to use some money I could pay, and I taught myself over like 2 years how to operate it. And in the beginning, the beats were kind of cheesy a little bit, but I knew how to like cut and chop what I wanted. I just had to learn how to program drums and learn a little bit about like music theory and root notes and bass and keyboards and you know over time it developed. But I learned technical skills going to the trade school,
Mm.
and that helped me advance and develop my sound as a producer. And at this time, I would say it's 2007. Then I began the transition into from a DJ to a producer, and I took everything that I learned as a DJ and all my experience and my new music, the knowledge base of music, and applied that into music production. And yeah, I'd like make my own music, but I didn't have a producer that took me seriously. So I had to learn how to make my own beats, and that's how I got good as a producer. And then when I graduated out of the school, I then got internships and jobs at CBS Radio, which
Okay.
got me closer to seeing what DJs do, I guess on a commercial level in radio. And I learned it wasn't something for me. Like you listen to the radio and see, it's like, not to be blasphemous or nothing, but they call it like the voice of God. You don't know who these people are, but they just kind of commanding
Mm.
and have these personalities and
Yeah, I totally understand. I totally get
but
it.
but then you get closer and you see what the business is and the politics, and you see who these people are, and it's like like it could be disappointing in some ways, and you learn you begin to deal with all different type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? In the corporate world that we deal with, where you're marginalized and you looked over, no matter how much work you do, how much talent you have, and they know it and they can see it, but they give it to, there's a lot of nepotism and you know what I'm saying, and things of that nature, and it could be hard for us to really advance
Got
when
it.
so then I left out the record the radio station and went to work at Universal. One of my friends was a manager for Neo, invited me over to come work with them, and then so I had experience at the label, becoming familiarized with how they put together a project and things like that, which was also up my alley, being that I was a aspiring producer. I got to some opportunities to be in the studio and see the real producers produce the records like a fly on the wall.
Got
you know,
it.
some of my you know I would say like heroes, celebrities that we all know and stuff like that. I just see them and get to meet them, and you know it was like an experience for me, just to see the inner workings and the background of that high level of talent, what it goes into like crafting those records, from the songwriting process, the vocal production process, the producers and the engineers, the production process, the song production process, and the mixing and mastering, all the levels and stages. It was now what I learned in school, and the skill set of the technical school, the technical aspect. I saw it in real time.
Right.
It translated, like what I'm saying, like seeing Neo cut records. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
Other people like Mary J. Blige and other people that be around, and some people that he would write records for and things like that. Like I said, a fly on the wall, but it kind of an experience that I could then apply to my own um, production and the value of my production. Um, and so Sanitation came calling, and I was having my daughter around that time. We were expecting her, and I told myself, I said, you know what? I tried all these things, and it was great to have these experiences, but thinking back like a kid, like how do I get all these things that I want to get? And I looked at all the older guys at the time that had, looked like they had the money to, what I'm saying, they had the cars, they had the jewelry, and this is how you support a family. So now in my mind, I'm like, yo, I've done a lot of great and amazing things, but um, nothing seemed sustainable
Got you.
on a creative aspect. And also too, I kind of forgot to mention that before the Empire closed, they did the film Roll Bounce, which I was like called and asked to be a part of, which I did the stunts and choreography with Bill Butler.
Really?
Bill Butler, who's the godfather of roller disco. The Empire is the birthplace of roller disco. So like I said, a
What?
very place
Wow. So
had
wait
a
a minute. So hold on. Don't gloss over that tone. So choreography. For which group? Was it for the Bow Wow team or for Wesley Jonathan? Like who did you choreograph for?
did all the choreography together.
All of it.
Yes, but I was a stunt double on Bow Wow's team, on the main team, the Garden Boys.
The Garden Boys. You
I
was
I,
some.
I, I was a stunt double for Rick Gonzalez, who was the character Naps, who couldn't skate.
Okay,
Yes,
which one was okay? So draw my memory. Which one was
the
that?
one with the afro. He was like, he was always at the back of the
I
line.
got you. Okay,
Yeah, so
okay.
I was his specific stunt double, but
Wow.
we taught all of them. We worked with them on a daily basis, like probably I would say like 6 weeks to 2 months before the filming started. We would go to that was our
Wow, that is crazy.
and we trained all of the actors, Bow Wow, everyone. We trained them on all. We developed the choreography. Mike Johnson, Bill Butler, Tyrone Dixon, who was more of a producer, but he was like filming all that
Mhm.
stuff, and me, Mike, Bill, and they had a dance choreographer. We come together, put the moves, and she do the hand movement. So a lot of what you see, if you go back and watch the movie, you see all the main actors when they show the face shots, they're doing all the hand movements.
Yes. Yes.
That comes from the dance choreographer where she filmed, she choreographed those movements. But we did a lot of the skating, the skate choreography.
Got it. Got it.
It's all choreography together because you do all of these moves. They have hand movements and feet movements, but you'll notice that they did it very good too, though. But
Right.
notice that when you look at the cuts, there's foot movement, and
Right.
go up to the top movement where you don't really see their feet, but you see them throwing
Right.
their hands like this, opening their arms, and you know what I'm saying. So they cut it and did editing very well. But the way it would work is that we were dressed up just like them, a stunt double team. We do the choreography, and they take full length body shots of us, but mostly catching the sides or the back of us and the feet, our feet specifically.
Wow.
They would then the acting team, the A team, the actors would
Mhm.
then do the choreography the best
Mhm.
they could, mostly the hand motions. Some of them could keep,
Right.
but they wouldn't focus on their feet.
Wow. That's amazing. Thank you for sharing that.
Mesh those two
Wow.
together to make them look as they were pro skaters and all that.
Wow. And they did a good job. Like you said, they did a good job editing because not everyone can really master that. Because you could, some movies you can really tell the
Yeah.
difference, but in that, it just flows so well.
Well, I think a lot of that I would credit Tyrone Dixon for that because he had a documentary called Eight Wheels of some Soul Brother music where he kind of like traveled around the country and did his homework on like all the different styles and stuff. And he's also a roller skater himself as well as a film maker,
Mhm.
director, and a professor. He's a
Got it.
doctor, I believe, and uh, he was the one who understood how all of this needed to happen, the people that needed to be involved, and how it should be translated.
Yeah. So, let me ask you, Tone, because I know because I said, you always get back into the creative side. So I see that. I see what you be doing. Because because I know, because I just love it. I love to hear people speak so much about what they love to do. I just, so I have no problem with that. But I really want to get more into your life. The steady flow of life when you, like I said, with the you was getting more into the sanitation, then you go right
Yeah,
back into the music, then you get
right.
to the sanitation, and then you go back into the music again.
So yeah, so that's
Yeah.
kind of a piece. There was a slew of other things that I did with skating.
Right.
Time with DJing, with my DJing was my steady gig, but I would get these other little gigs with the skating, and then after the rink closed, like I said, I went to trade school and I worked in different compartments of the industry, from radio to the record label. And but like I said, nothing was stable enough with a daughter on the way for that I saw would be able uh,
Mhm. To
to
sustain you. Mhm.
yes, and to raise a family. So I was getting the call for these, city jobs and municipal these opportunities. And I really just had to sit down and say, I've been part of a lot of great things and I've done a lot of fun things. But now I wholeheartedly, I think, like, with my daughter coming, I made a decision that I would sacrifice my dreams, my goals and my dreams to do the right thing and be a responsible father and a man. And I kind of like went into the municipal um, industry just wholeheartedly with my heart open, just ready to just leave it behind me and let it go, let it all go.
Mm.
And I worked the job, but I I never realized that accepting this opportunity really would open the door further because I made I don't want to say, I mean, I'm not rich, but I made more money than I thought, and I was able to invest into myself, and I would then continually, just consistently buy myself a little piece of equipment, buy a
Got
desk,
it.
and I started to acquire all the things that I couldn't when I was working in the creative realm. It was always like hand to mouth, enough to get on a Metro card, some food to eat, and a couple bucks to maybe go on a date or something like that. You know, but never enough to buy myself equipment or to invest into too much more than just, like I said, hand to mouth. And
Right, right. Just paycheck to paycheck.
working in sanitation really allowed me to take care of my daughter, my family, and to invest into myself and the things that I want to do to another level. And
Yep. So
about 3 years in,
okay.
they had a designer named Heron Preston, who was part of Kanye West design team, along with Virgil Abloh. Um, but Heron Preston got, I guess, okay to do a collaboration with the Department of Sanitation, and I was invited by the union. They were looking for workers to come and represent at the. It was a Fashion Week event where they held it at a uh, new structure that they built, a sanitation sort pile dome along the West
Mm,
Highway, and so they had, like, the the uniforms up on the wall, and the sort pile was open. You could see it, and they were like the big FEL, like the tractors that pick up the salt, like parked there, and there was
wow.
a mixture of the fashion people, uh, this, I would say, the like high ranking supervision chiefs and people of that sort, at that
Hmm,
level,
hmm.
and then maybe a handful of workers, and I just happened to be one of those workers. But
Wow.
leading up to that, I had designed my own. I mean, mostly I did a lot of this stuff too. Like, I designed my own uniform to wear to the event. It was like a one of one vintage sanitation, or vintage style sanitation bomber jacket. It doesn't exist.
Mm,
Stuff that
wow.
I thought was cool, and like some like pants, uniform pants that I cut up that I couldn't wear because they had an orange strip on the side, but I cut them and did like some motocross style on the front, and I showed up wearing that, and people were looking. And then somebody approached me and was like, "Hey, is this part of the collection?" I'm like, "No, this is mine." Like, they're like, "Oh, where'd you get it from? Is this vintage?" I'm like, "No, I made it." It was they're like, "Really?" There's like, Aaron. I'm like, "No." They like, "Oh, you should meet him. Come." And at the moment that they introduced me to him, he was like, "Yeah, I saw your jacket." Then Virgil comes in, and then, like, I had no idea that there was all these media people. People from Vogue magazine were there taking photos, I guess, for like online. And so Virgil comes in. He was becoming a big deal at that time with his label Off White, his fashion label, and before he even became the head of Louis Vuitton. And
Wow.
started to take pictures, and they asked me to step to the side, took a picture of of us, everyone by themselves. I went home like nothing. And then, like, about a month later, the commissioner's office is calling me. I thought I was in trouble. Phone on them. I was like, "What is this about? Why are you calling my phone? How did you get my number?" Like, they're like, "Whoa, whoa, hold on. You went to a fashion show like last month." I'm like, "Yeah, okay." They're like, "Well, we want to know if you be part of a photo shoot." And at first, it didn't really click to me. So I was just like, you know and to be honest with you, at that moment when it was happening, my daughter and her sister, they were I had gotten this gig to do for the kids to do the troll movies. uh
Okay.
with, they dressed up 34th Street, Macy's, with the window display for the trolls.
Yes.
Justin Timberlake came to speak because the movie was coming out, and the kids were skating around, and it was like a live performance. So we kind of like helped, facilitate that and everything like that. And they called me in the middle of this, and I'm like, I'm busy, like not. I was already
Yeah,
on it
you right.
when they, like, the commissioner's office is calling my phone. Like, I'm a sanitation worker. I'm the bottom of the bottom. Like, what's going? What?
Like, what's this all about?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I didn't even really have an interest. Then they tell me a photo shoot. I'm like, this is a I'm not. It's not. I don't work in the fashion industry. You know what I'm saying? I pick up garbage. Photo shoot. And not to be ignorant, but it didn't really click.
Right. Understand your mindset. You're like, okay, like what? Like what? I mean, what is really going on? Like,
Yeah,
how
like
did we
what?
like reaching out to me of all people? Like, what is going
Right.
on? But you never know who's watching.
Exactly. So and this is so then they call me back. They call me back before I can even call them back. And I say, yeah, they're like, well, we'd like you to be part of a photo shoot. I'm like, okay. I was like, you just let me know when the time is. They gave me the date, and I told them, I said, I already booked tickets to Puerto Rico, so I'm not sure if I could do it. I'll let you know. I'll think about it. You get the specific date, and if it's not falling on like when I gotta fly out, then I'll do it. And then call me back in like 10 minutes. Said the lady at the commissioner's office said, Mr. Camacho, I don't know if you know who Anna Wintour is. I
You
said,
better know.
yeah, that's the lady that sits
Mhm.
in front of all the fashion shows with Kim Kardashian and Rihanna. And they like, yeah,
Oh,
she's the chief editor of Vogue. I said, yeah, The Devil Wears Prada. She's like, yes, they made the movie The Devil Wears Prada.
yes, yes, based on her.
She said, well, after the show, there were her workers that came, her photographers that came, took pictures of everyone at the show. She went through the photos for new things to, I guess, promote inside of the magazine. And they showed her the photos, the stack of photos at the event, and she stopped at your photo and she asked who you were. And they found out who you were, and they said that you're a sanitation worker. And she said to find you, that they were going to use you as the model in the editorial, uh,
Wow.
the workers for sanitation with the line that they want to highlight that Harry Preston did. So she's like, it's not like we can replace you with someone else. So we're not telling you that it's not wrong if you didn't, like, if you decline. But I just want you to know it looked bad on you and the department, really, because we can't just produce another you. And I'm not sure if you know, but this could really change your life and be a great opportunity for you.
Mm.
So I went to think about, like, I went to look at my ticket, and I moved it a day over, and I went and did the shoot. And I went into it. I wouldn't say skeptical, like, but maybe just realistic, because I already at that point have been through so many things. So I told you, I've been on TV commercials, I've been in films and different things, and sometimes things don't pan out. People talk a lot about
Right. True.
what they do, and my mom was always a person, like, show me. I believe it when I see it. So I mean, even up to when I went and did the photo shoot, it was really cool. I met really great people high up in the industry, in the fashion world, different kind of models, and the people were very nice. Um, no, sorry. Um,
Somebody
uh,
asking for change.
no, it wasn't that. It was
Oh.
a girl. I don't know.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry, flashback. But go
Yeah,
ahead. Go ahead.
I met some really nice people in that, and I was like, it was a cool experience to have the shoot. It was unlike anything that I've ever been involved in, like a high level fashion shoot. It was like what it looks like on TV and stuff like that, and it was very, um, I don't know, maybe weird is the word, but not really. Like, the people weren't weird. It was like all of this, like, they want to take you to hair, and they did my hair, and then they put a hat on my head, and it was like they spent time like doing my hair, and then put a hat on my head, and they wanted to put makeup, and I told them no, and then they like dressed me, and they had like 16 different combinations of clothing just to pick one.
Right, right.
I'm not even a girl. There was a girl in it, and they had to do her hair and spend more time.
Right, right.
All of this stuff, and it took hours. I'm talking about we had to take a break from doing all that stuff, and we ate food. You know what I mean? And then we finally get into the photo studio, and like they set us up, and they turn the lights on, and the photographer comes in, and they like whisper to each other, and it's like a Enos and Vinud. You can check them out. But they're like a husband and wife photography, like a couple, a duo. But I guess like Vinud was like shooting, or Inez was, and one of them whispered, and then it was like clack, 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 like 30 seconds of them shooting, And then the next thing I hear is just this like clap, like people clapping, and everybody's clapping in the room, and that was it. It was all these hours for like this 30
Mhm.
seconds of like this expert level mastery photography, I guess. And the lady comes over to me, Inez, and I guess I was just kind of stunned that it was over with that fast, and everybody was clapping, and Inez grabbed me by the face and kissed me, and she was like, "Oh, you were amazing." I was like, "Oh wow!" Like I said, I was like really confused. It was weird in a way where like the people were very nice, but I had no idea it would be like 4 hours of
Yes, I mean,
prep
that is so impactful.
for 30 seconds. And then I just stood
Mhm.
still and looked at the camera, and she was like, "You were amazing." Like so I was like, wow. And then after that, I just kind of left a little stunned and like confused. And I was like, okay, you know, and then so this was probably like in October. And I went back to work daily like nothing. Went on my vacation right after that, came back to work, and I go to a Christmas party at my job, and one of the people tell me, they're like, "Yo, did you see the magazine?" And I'm like, "What magazine?" They're like, "You in the magazine?"
Wow, that's
I
something.
ran out of the party to the closest newsstand
Newsstand,
and
yeah.
picked it up, and it was there, and I was like, "What?" Like, wow. And then I just bought all the magazines, and I went everywhere I could and bought all the magazines. And I don't know. It was just like this, like a surreal moment, way where like I went
Of
back
course.
to, and one of the guys tell me like, "Yo, I'm proud of you, man." And I just I it didn't really translate because I pick up bags of garbage. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm not trying to downplay the job, but it's like
Right,
a
right.
very
But it's
routine.
just surreal. I get what you're
Yeah,
saying. Like, it went from that to just blow up
yeah,
situation, within a short period of time.
right. And then so he tells me, he's like, "Yo, you really put on and you represent for us. You know what I'm saying? Being that you even come from this garage and you in there." He said, "Let me tell you something." He had the magazine. He asked me to sign it too. One of
Wow.
he was like, "Let me tell you something." He said, "This morning, Oprah, Oprah opened the magazine and saw you and read about you in the Department of Sanitation. This morning, Beyonce opened the Vogue magazine and saw you representing for us. This morning, Michelle Obama opened the Vogue magazine and saw you representing Department of Sanitation."
You see why I reached out to you?
Yeah,
You
so
see?
it didn't really.
Mhm.
This guy got like 15 years in the job. You know what I'm saying? I'm 3 years in. But I'm like, wow. He kind of that kind of like opened and like I said, exploded my mind at that time. Like I didn't really think about it, how far that reach was. And even after that, it kind of put me in the lane where people recognize me. So I happened to be hanging out, and then be getting back into DJing and hanging out downtown in Soho where the fashion people are. When Heron run,
Mhm.
yo,
Mhm.
Tony, what's up? You know what I'm saying? And then bring me to hang out with Virgil when he was DJing for Travis Scott. Again, like they're fashion, but music and fashion goes hand
Yes, it's full circle. Yes, full
right.
circle.
So it's all culture, you know what I'm saying? But
Yes.
all of this while I'm working my day job. Every day I wake up at 5 in the morning, get to work for 6, doing the route. And you know what I'm saying?
Yes. Take me there, Tony. Get more into that. I want to hear how you balance that between your craft, what you do as a creative, and what you do as a sanitation technician. Take me through a day in the life of that. I want to get more into that part.
Well, every day I wake up about 5:15. I get to work for 6. I do a route daily. Um, I walk about, I'll say 9,500 to like 11,500 steps a day.
Ooh,
Um,
ugh.
when I worked in Manhattan, I would lift anywhere from 12 to 15 tons a day, which is 24,000 to 30,000 pounds a day of garbage to fill a truck. Um, Now in Brooklyn, it's a little less. I'll say we do about 8 to 10 tons, which is about 16,000 to like 20,000 pounds of garbage daily. Um, But once I get that done and I get it out the way, the rest of the time is mine, which I like to use to rest because any given time I could be invited to, a networking event. I just went to like 2 days ago to a Plains Rock Nation event with tastemakers. Um, I get invited to other places to play.
So let me ask you, where do the garbage go? Where y'all take the garbage to?
There's facilities, what they call transfer stations or dumps. Depends on the commodity. There's trash, garbage, household refuse, which is called, and then there's we know the recycle program where we have metal, plastic, glass. That's usually in one side of a truck, and they have like a split body truck, and then the other side would be paper, just like all the cardboard stuff. And then recently, in the last few years, they've implemented organics, which is any kind of food scraps
Mm,
or any
compost.
kind of cardboard soiled by food and or yard
Compost. Mm,
compost.
mm.
Exactly. And it'll be one side compost and one side household refuse, and you would go to a specific dump that takes those commodities.
How's all that sorted out? Because because normally, like, when you go to these dumpsters or trash, you take out the trash. It's all combined. So how does all that get sorted?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, there's specific trucks for specific commodities that go out, or like
Yeah,
it's
but sometimes not always separated. Like when people put out
yeah.
garbage, it's not always separated. Like you have some neighborhoods, depends on the neighborhood. There's some neighborhoods that don't have like separate recycle bins and separate garbage. Everything is all together.
Oh, if it's all together, it's just called mixed, and that's thrown into household refuse. That goes to garbage.
Okay.
But the plant, because that's what everything used to be. It was just garbage. It was just one
Hmm.
commodity, household refuse, and the plan was to recycle
Right.
more sustainable instead of being wasteful. So all those things, they started to implement those different programs, and yeah, so people are given directives on the initiative, where they're like, whether it's stickers that you can put onto your canister or stuff, information you can look up online, or you can call 311. um,
Hmm.
and it tells you, specifically gives you directions on what is considered a valid commodity to be put into one bag together.
Got it.
Yes.
And you said you've been doing this for 3 years so far, right?
No, I did it 3 years when I got in the
Oh, at the
magazine.
time. Okay, at the time. Okay.
About I'm 13 years in.
Oh, you 13. Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, so that's you're considered what's it called? The top t- what's it called?
I'm top paid. I'm
Top
vested.
A. Yes, yes.
Vested. Yes, I'm at
Yeah,
top pay. I hit top pay when I was 5.5 years.
five, okay.
Yeah, I'm like right now. This is 20 years, a 20-year gig. So they call it 20-year bid. So you know what I'm saying. I'm over the hill trying to get. You know, I don't know. Maybe I think I like my job working behind the truck, but I think in this next few years I really gotta give it some thought, and I think I may take the test to move up and become supervisor, superintendent, or something like that. All
Hmm.
of my peers and everyone that I came in the department with and came up around, whether they were whatever level they were, sanitation workers, then became supervisors. Now they're all becoming superintendents and chiefs. So they're high level people. And then if they were chiefs already, now they're like high level chiefs, 3-star chiefs, top people in the department. So I think I need to consider um,
Leveling up.
advancing and
Yeah.
elevating.
Hmm.
Maybe time. I mean, I could stay where I'm at. I'm fine where I'm at because I love my position.
Right.
Great to be outside, to drive a truck, to be, you know what I mean, in the community. Like I get an opportunity. Like if I want to go to another garage for the day and there's an opportunity to do that, I could do that. Breaks up the
It's
monotony. Like,
flexibility. Hmm. Yeah,
yeah,
that's good. But also, what about I mean, about the horrible weather that you had to endure? How you deal with that?
I mean, it's been over a decade. I'm exposed at any time. So, um, you know, the hottest days that everybody wants to stay in the AC, I'm outside walking. I'm outside lifting, working physical labor for hours in the heat. The coldest days, when
Yeah.
everybody inside in the heat, I'm outside in the freezing cold, the wind, picking up garbage for hours every morning before the sun comes up. On the days that it rains and people want to stay inside and stay dry,
Mhm.
I'm
Mhm.
outside. I can't use an umbrella. I get soaked to my socks and my drawers.
Mm.
I'm There's no hiding. I'm fully exposed, and you build a tolerance.
Yeah, apparently.
Yeah. That's why they call us New York's strongest.
Yes, absolutely. And
Yeah,
I just want to tip my hat off to you on that one. And I really, that's why I said I really wanted to kind of dig a little deeper into that area of your working, that regular city job and the sanitation because it's very grueling, There's no sugarcoating that. It's very grueling, it's very tiresome. I know you had to endure, like you said, you're exposed and you're out there. You're
yeah.
putting yourself out there for us. So, and I just wanted, just thank you for that. I really appreciate all that you do. You may sometimes take it for granted, but it's not unnoticed. It's really not. So I just really appreciate that.
Thank,
You putting
thank
yourself in that grind and you still make the time to perfect your craft and do what you love. And you make time for how many children?
I have one, and I have one on the way.
Oh, congratulations. Oh, thank you so and then the fact that you do all of that, like I said, and make time to be a family man. So I want to just give you your I want to give you your
Thank
flowers. I want to definitely give you your flowers on that, You know,
thank
gotta
you.
give you flowers. There you go.
Yeah. It's not easy, and like you said, thank you. I appreciate your thanks. And usually, it's people. It'd be like older folks who think about this kind of thing, and also maybe just people who are conscious of it. But it's very few and far in between. And they say that it's a thankless job, but we are compensated for what we do. A lot of times, people turn their nose up at us.
Mhm.
Um, you know,
I think it's kind of skip, labor. That's kind of sexy to me. I mean, I've always thought that labor, men who do labor like that is sexy to me.
uniform. Yeah, I've heard
Yeah,
that.
uniform workers are very, that's very appealing. It's very appealing to me. But